Summer is here, and we all know what that means. It's wedding season, prom season, special events are popping up all over the place. In today's video, I'm going to do this easy glam that I've done, but I'm also going to show you how to make it last all day with minimal touch-ups with my tricks that I use on myself and my red carpet clients. By the way, I'm Jeannie. I'm a pro makeup artist. I live in Los Angeles. I work with celebrities, beauty brands, and everyone in between. Welcome to my channel. There are a few things that I would do at least a few days, if not the day before an event, just to prep my skin. It will come as no surprise to those of you who have watched my channel before, but the first thing I'm going to say is shaving your face. This is a face razor from Japanesque. It's meant to shave the face. What shaving the face does is it starts the exfoliation process. It removes any dead skin, but it also removes any peach fuzz that you might have on your face. That way it creates a smooth canvas for the makeup to go on top of. Another thing I would do probably the evening before after cleansing my face is I would exfoliate it again, but this time with a chemical exfoliant like an AHA toner. So I have two at the moment that I'm kind of bopping between that I'm really loving. The first one, I've talked about it on this channel before, is the Ren Ready Steady Glow Tonic. This stuff is great. It's got willow bark, lactic acid. Lactic acid is really great because it plumps, it exfoliates, and it just gives you this otherworldly glow. Another one that's a little bit on the stronger side, but I still really love, I tend to use it sparingly because I do have reactive skin, but when my skin is feeling really dull, I always reach for this. It's the Liquid Exfoliate Toner from Kate Somerville. This toner is very effective. It's going to exfoliate, leave you with a beautiful glow, and it gives you that nice tingle after you apply it that I just love. So now that we've gotten the pre-prepping out of the way, let's get to skin prep. As you can see, I've already done my brows. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that I prefer to do my brows before I do any skincare. I will link my brow tutorial above just to give you an idea of how I do my brows. It is quite lengthy. I've gotten it down to a science so I can do it pretty quickly myself. In the interest of time for most of my tutorials, I tend to do brows off camera just because it's easier and it's quicker. When thinking about makeup for events, you definitely want to make sure that your skin is prepped really, really well. Hydrated skin is happy skin, and happy skin gives you beautiful makeup. And beautiful makeup is what we want when we're going to events and we're being photographed, right? In the interest of that, I'm going to start with the Barrier Bounce from Naturium. Stuff is a little bit different. It's much thinner than a normal moisturizer, but it just plumps the skin and hydrates it really, really well. Couple of pumps on my hand, emulsify it, and then just apply it all around the brows. This stuff is really silky. It's unlike anything I've ever used, but I really, really love the way it looks under makeup. Now moving on to sunscreen. I'm going to preface this by saying that if I was attending an event at night, I would skip this step because I wouldn't have to worry about the sun hitting my face, right? But if you're attending a wedding that is happening during the day or an event that's happening during the day and it needs to last into the night, obviously we're going to use sunscreen. That being said, I would recommend a chemical sunscreen because it's less likely to flash back with flash photography. The one I'm using today is also from Naturium because I've noticed that this sunscreen and the Barrier Bounce work very well together. It's the UV Reflect Antioxidant SPF 50. Another thing that's great about this sunscreen is that it's almost the same texture as the Barrier Bounce, yet another reason why they work very well together. Just gonna apply it. Don't forget your ears, behind your ears, back of the neck, and the forehead. Of course. I have obviously not done my hair yet. I tend to do my makeup and then my hair and then I get dressed. You know how they have that meme of what order you do things when you're going out? Mine is always makeup, hair, and then getting dressed. Whenever I'm doing an event look and I'm starting with eyes, I like to put something down on the eyelid first to help cancel out any redness. So I sometimes use a concealer, but today I'm using the Merit Complexion Stick. This is in the shade Cream. And I'm just gonna grab a Smith Cosmetics brush. This is my personal one, so I'm using it directly from the product. And just run it all over my eyelid up to the brow bone. When it comes to event makeup, I like to work in really light layers with different textures. When you're taking thin layers of product with different textures and layering them on top of each other, you're setting the layers as you go, and that's just gonna help your makeup last longer. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be mostly working from this Dior eyeshadow palette. It's the Cool Neutral palette number 2. With the same Smith Cosmetics brush, I'm just gonna take these two shadows, the mixture of the two, and just run it all over my eyelid just to set that base that we put down. Taking a 232 brush, also from Smith. It's a little bit smaller than the one that I was using. Going back into the palette, I'm just going to take this color right here, which is called Mauve. I'm just going to go in the crease like this and just kind of create that outer V. Taking the color up on my brow bone. Same brush, I'm taking this matte purple color right here, and then I'm going to concentrate it on the outer third of the eye. And then grabbing the bigger brush from before, we're just going to blend that out. So we're just kind of creating a gradient smoke, a little bit of depth. What I like to do is I like to pull up just to create that elevated, kind of elongated effect on the eye. And then to give the eye a little bit of oomph, a little bit of drama, but still in the same family, I'm going to go in with the eye lights from RMS Beauty. This is in the color Halo. It's going to take some on the back of my hand. It's going to grab a little bit of the product and then just place it all over the eyelid up to the crease. And then taking a clean 235 brush from Smith, just any fluffy brush will do, buffing that in. Before I do any more eyeshadow, I want to use a little bit of eyeliner. This is a waterproof eyeshadow pencil from Sephora. It's in the shade Purple. And I'm going to take a Delium brush. Any small detail brush will do. Grab a little bit of the product and just kind of smudge it back and forth just to create a little bit of smoke at the lash line. And then maybe angling it up just a little, just to accentuate that lifted effect that I was telling you about earlier. I'm going to go back into the eyeshadow palette with the same brush. Taking that deep plum color, I'm going to go over and kind of smoke out that liner a little bit. Again, this is less about precision and just more about creating depth at the lash line. I'm also going to take the pencil itself and just tightline the upper waterline. Just so then there's no gaps between the lashes and it makes the lash line dark, but not dark as if we were using black. It's drama, but in a soft way. I'm gonna go back into the Dior palette with a 235 brush, and I'm just gonna take these shimmery shadows right here, a little mixture of these two in the middle, all over the eyelid. Bring it up just a little bit, just to soften everything. What this also does is it blends any lines you may have missed, any shadow you may have missed, just brings everything together on the eyelid. Gonna curl my lashes, good curl. Since we're thinking about longevity, I would probably reach for a waterproof mascara. Honestly, I don't love waterproof mascaras. They're very hard to take off, and I tend to find that they make my lashes very brittle. So what I usually use is a tubing mascara. I find that tubing mascaras tend to give me the longevity that I want, but they also give me that feathered out, thick, gorgeous lash that I'm looking for. So I'm using the Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This is an absolute favorite of mine. One of the top 3 mascaras I have ever used. It just performs. It's thickening, it's lengthening, but my lashes still feel really soft, and it's really, really black. And to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go into the highlighter palette from Dior. This is the universal one. I'm going to take that flat synthetic brush that I used previously into the pink, maybe a little bit of the white. I'm just going to sweep it all over the eyelid just to make it pop. Just taking some micellar water on a cotton pad. I'm going to clean up under my eyes. So at this point, we're moving on to skin. But one of the steps that I like to do before I start in with any kind of foundation or concealer is I actually like to take a setting spray. This one is from Krylon. It's the Ultra Setting Spray. This is a professional grade setting spray. I don't use this every day. I use this for brides. I use this for red carpets. I use this for any time it is really, really, really hot and I need the makeup to last as long as possible. This is used for theater performances, on stage, under hot lights, in crazy weather conditions. This is probably one of the strongest setting sprays I've ever used. This one, and they also have it in an aerosol form as well, but I can't seem to find it, or else I would use that one for this tutorial. I'm going to use this now to set my eyes and almost create a little bit of a barrier between my skincare and my makeup. And I've noticed that when I use it in the middle of my makeup, that's the trick right there. I'm going to give it a shake, and then for base foundation, I'm going to go a little bit out of order, and I'm actually going to grab the Merit stick that I used on my eyelids. I'm just going to take, this is a crease brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just going to start spot concealing, using it in areas where I need it. So under the eyes, down the nose, and then I'm going to take my foundation after this, which is a thinner formula. It's a little bit more sheer. I'm going to place that over this. By doing very thin layers of your product, it's going to increase the longevity. Because even if the product on top breaks down, you still have that product underneath it to sort of save it, if that makes any sense. This is just an extra insurance policy, so to speak. So the idea is to put both of them together to create a flawless base. I'm also using this cream product as my concealer. The foundation that I'm using is the Dior Face and Body. I love, love, love this foundation because it's thin, but it has great coverage. Just taking my It Cosmetics brush, we're just going to buff Foundation in. Do you see how that came together? It's so pretty. Now, I'm not always a proponent of powdering the entire face, but because it's summertime, because we're looking for longevity, I would rather powder the face strategically and then place shimmer or dewiness back onto the face so then I can control where the shine is going and where the shine is not going. So I'm going to take this brush from Sephora. I'm going to set under the eyes and then my T-zone. And then with whatever's left over on the brush, I'm going to bring it down the cheeks. So there's not a lot of powder left over on the brush, but there's still enough to lightly set. Plus, I'm going to be using mostly powder products. As we know, if a surface is wet, you put powder on top of it, it's going to stick and it's not going to blend the way you want it to. Before I finish the rest of the face, I just want to finish the lower lash line. I'm taking the Delium brush, the one that I was using before, back into the Dior palette. And I'm going to take this color, maybe mix it with that color, just run it underneath like that. Then taking a blending brush and just blending it out. Softening it. It's going to go back into the highlighter palette and take that frosty white and just pop it in the inner tear duct. For contouring, I'm going to go in with these Dior Backstage No Powder Powders. I'm just going to take this Smith Cosmetics brush. This is a 112 brush, my Ride or Die brush. Swirl it in both of these and just start sculpting. And taking it on the jaw. And then if it looks like you put just a little bit too much product, take your foundation brush, just buff it out. So before I finish the face, I'm actually going to do the lips because I like to do the lips first and then finish everything else just to make sure the whole face is balanced and the whole look comes together. I'm going to take the Humble lip liner from Rare Beauty and I'm just going to line and fill in my lips. I like to do a little overdraw on the Cupid's bow. Also, lining and filling in your lips with lip liner helps with longevity as well. I'm just going to take my finger and blend that together. This is Rouge Dior 100. It's just a really pretty nude. And I like to take my finger and just tap. Just removes a little bit of the product and also softens the lip a little bit. Going back in with the contour brush into Rose Montaigne from Dior. It's this beautiful kind of warm pink. Just to match the lips. I'm not being too precious about the placement of the blush. I just kind of want that full flushed kind of look, very romantic. Last step, before setting spray, just to make sure everything is bulletproof and locked down, I'm taking this RCMA powder. It's in the shade Amethyst. I'm going to take it on a powder puff, tap it off on my hand, and then I'm just going to hit under my eyes, around my nose, forehead, chin, even underneath. And if you have a little bit of residue, don't worry because the setting spray will take care of that. Taking the setting spray once again. So this is the finished look. I love it so much. It's giving Regency romance, weddings, special event, prom. You can wear this makeup to anything, any kind of event. You can change out the purple for neutrals. You can do bronze. You can do a red lip. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to show you the techniques that I use to help your makeup last all day. And I promise you, if you prep the skin properly and you take the steps, especially the setting spray steps, you're going to have minimal touch-ups. It really, really does help. Is there anything else you want to see from me? Please let me know in the comments below. These videos are for you all. That's why I make them. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great summer. Please tune in next week for a brand new tutorial, and I'll see you then.